Jacob's expression was extremely ugly. What Jones Jian said was to base their happiness on his pain. Panming looked at Jacob provocatively, then continued to smile and said to the students, "This is not the worst. Do you know what the worst is?" "What is it?" everyone asked curiously. Panming laughed and said, "The worst thing is that Jacob finally married a certain celebrity in our school." "Guess who it is?" someone complained. "How can we guess this? Many of us have been developing in other places. Unlike you, you are in Orus Hill and you know more gossip news." "That's right, don't sell it off, tell us quickly, we are all curious." Panming didn't sell off anymore, and said with a smile, "The one who married him is the school's #1 vixen, Elaine, who was famous back then." Charlie really didn't expect that his mother-in-law Elaine would be classmates with the old master. Even more unexpectedly, the mother-in-law has the reputation of the school's #1 shrew. To be honest, Elaine's quality is really not like someone who has studied in college. To say that this person went to junior high school is a blasphemy against junior high school. With her inferior quality and character, it is incredible to be admitted to university. Charlie was not only surprised at this time. All other old classmates of Jacob were also shocked. No one thought that Jacob would be with Elaine. Although Elaine was not in the same class as them, she was famous in school back then. When she was in school, she was arrogant and unreasonable, and she was very immoral. She stole other people's things every other time. When she was caught, instead of admitting mistakes, she wanted to fight with others. Once, Elaine's thermos broke and was unwilling to spend money on a bottle, so she went to the tea furnace room and ordered one, but she didn't expect that the owner of the thermos was a boy from the Northeast, 5 big and 3 thick. The boy went to Elaine for a thermos, but Elaine pointed at his nose to scold him for half an hour. In the end he couldn't help but slap Elaine. Elaine carried a bottle of water and chased him to burn him to death. The man in the Northeast was chased for more than 10 minutes, but she still burned his arm. Not only that, Elaine even let out words, if the other party dared to yell at her, "Next time it will not be pouring water but sulfuric acid." This time, the Northeast boy was terrified. Not only did she dare not pursue her sins of stealing the thermos and scalding herself, he even begged her to let her go. Since then, Elaine became famous in the school. Since then, no one in the school could provoke Elaine. Even if she was a boy, she would beat and scold whenever she was dissatisfied. Many boys in the school could not raise their heads by her scolding. Therefore, when they heard that Jacob and Elaine were married, everyone was stunned. Someone looked at Jacob with sympathetic eyes and asked, "Jacob, I remember Elaine was really pursuing you back then, but you were so good at the time, how could you look at her?" Jacob was very angry and said furiously, "Do you bother asking what these do?" Panming was happy when he thought of it, and he explained happily, "You don't know about this, but I know it. Do you remember the gathering when we graduated from our senior year?" Someone echoed, "Remember, I remember that many people drank too much." Panming smiled and said, "It was at that party that Elaine poured Jacob a pound of white money. Jacob was not good at that time." Everyone was still thinking about sending Jacob home, but Elaine said that no one would send him. She can do it alone. In the end, this girl carried Jacob to the guest house by herself. Guest house? D***mn it, isn't it? Panming smiled and said, "You all left at the time. I was more curious about this, so I followed up and took a peek. Guess what happened? You don't want to betray me, and finish it in one breath." Someone complained. Panming laughed and said, "That was the time that Elaine put Jacob to sleep, and she won the bid. It didn't take long before she found out that she was pregnant. Because Meiching also graduated, she flew directly to the United States. He had no choice but to marry Elaine, ha 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 ha."